Welcome back, everyone. What I want to do today is show you how to change the battery in a watch. So I had this watch for a while. The battery died. I threw it to the side. Decided, hey, why not change the battery? Put this back on my wrist and use it. I really like it. It's a nice watch. Now, what I have here is the spare battery. So I actually found the battery that belongs in this watch. You can go online and look these things up, or you can actually take the back off, look at the battery, order it, and then swap the battery when you have it, when you have the new one. So let's get into it. I'm going to be using some small screwdrivers that I have here. These happen to be a good set. Honestly, they're small screws. Any half decent set of precision screwdrivers will work. I don't exactly know what size this little Phillips bit is, but of this set of four, this is the one that works the best. So we're going to take these four screws off. Now I have a neoprene mat on the desk. You can use a parts tray like this. Just be careful, because if you drop these screws on a hard surface table, they're going to bounce, they're going to go all over the place. You might lose one. That's why I have the rubber mat on my desk. That, and it's more comfortable for my hands to work on. I'm not going to use this today, just because we have the rubber mat. So I'm going to take the four screws off. And again, this is not a really hard thing to do. A lot of times the batteries will die. People will bring it to a jewelry store and let them do it. It literally takes a minute or two. So there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to do it yourself. And it's pretty straightforward. Four screws, take off the back of the case. We're going to inspect the O-ring to make sure that it's not damaged. Okay. I have a little flathead screwdriver here just in case to pop the back cover off. I'm able to use, I don't even need this right now. You could use tweezers. If you get the tip of the Phillips head under the corner right here, you're able to pry it up. Just work gently so you don't tear the O-ring. As you can see, there's a rubber O-ring right here. It's stuck to the back cover, but that's fine. I'm not going to mess with it for now. It actually goes back into this gap right here. So this is our watch battery. Now, the battery inside this watch is an SR927SW. I'm using a Renata Swiss made. I think I paid like $2 on eBay for this battery, shipped. Came within, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 days. So $2 and maybe 2 minutes of my time, and the battery's changed. So, to pop out the battery, I'm having a tough time with the tip. That's why I also have the tweezers and a little flathead over here. I'm going to try with the tweezers real fast. It's hard for me to see with the camera and the camera angle that I'm trying to give to you guys. There we go. Our battery's out. Now we're going to take our new battery, we're going to put it in. We're going to check our, let me get a pair of scissors just to slice this package open and make it easy. So this is our old battery. We're going to put it to the side. This is our new one right here. And so the battery, the way the battery came out, this top side with the little center button section that it looks like, that's facing down. So we're going to make sure the side with the markings on it is facing up. All we have to do is drop it back into place, and we're done. Now, as far as the O-ring goes, this is the O-ring. The O-ring looks in good condition. We're going to make sure that there's no dust or it's not broken or anything. And we drop it right back into the groove. This is the O-ring groove around here. I'll use the mini Phillips. So I make sure that we're completely in the channel. We are. Now the watch back, we make sure I put the case back on with the words. If you see the front of the watch, the top of the watch is here where it actually says Casio, and I flip it over and I make sure that the back, the word Casio, is facing the same orientation as the front. We drop the cover plate back on, put in the 4 screws, and then we're ready to go. And to hold the screws, now these are a little bit of a pain sometimes to get back in. What I do is I actually hold them up against my middle finger like this and put them into the hole, and then I gently, I'm not jamming down because I'm not trying to ruin the threads or cross thread anything, but nice and gently. Now I'm not going to tighten these screws down all the way. I'm going to go until it just stops, and I stop right there until I put the rest of them in, and then I'll make a slight, I'll go slightly more with the tightening once around after. So this is how I like to do it. I like to hold it. I put the screw into the Phillips head like this. I hold it with my middle finger. This is comfortable for me. So I put one corner on. I'm putting the opposing corner on, and as soon as the screw stops, I'm not using a lot of pressure. Another way is you use a pair of tweezers, and you can, I don't usually use tweezers when doing this because I like doing it with my fingers. That way, that's just comfortable for me, but you can use tweezers also. Okay, and last screw, I'm going to do it the way that feels most comfortable to me. I get it set up in the head like this. Whoops. You see, this is why I'm using a rubber mat, because if you drop the screw like this, it doesn't bounce very far. If I did that on a wooden table or a steel table or something that was like a marble countertop, that screw is going to bounce a few feet, and we're going to have a problem because now you got to try to find these little tiny screws on the floor. So all 4 screws are in. I didn't go super tight on them. I just went until they stopped. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to just tighten them, just snug them down. And I'm barely getting a few degrees of turn out of these. You don't want to tighten the hell out of these screws. These are little screws, and you can end up damaging or stripping out the threads. Also, we don't want to over compress the back. That O-ring that sits in that groove keeps water out, and if you smash it down too much, you can cause the seal to fail, and that's not what we want. So just a gentle snugging of the screws. Okay, and we're done. Now that our battery is changed and our second hand is moving, we need to set the time and the date on the watch. And how we do that on this particular watch is we have a side post right here, and that's geared into the mechanism to actually make the adjustments. Now, the first thing we can do is if we move the post outward just a little bit, just a tiny bit, we can get the date to change. Oh, I went too far. That's why the time. So what happens is on this post there's 2 steps. The first step is to change the date, and it's very faint. And then if you pull it all the way out the post, that's how you set the time. So the time is 5:30 right now. There we go, 5:30. Now I'm going to try to push it back gently. I went all the way back in. That's why the second hand is moving. And I'm going to try to move it out just a hair. Okay, I think I got it. There we go. I don't know if you guys could see that, but the date is now moving. So today is the 4th. Let me get us to the 4th. 2, 3, and then to the 4th. And now we have the date and the time set on the watch. And that's all it is. It's a little bit tricky to get the date because of that first step is so it's so easy to go past that first step and to get into the second step, which is changing the time. But again, it didn't take me very long and I got fat fingers. Well, that's it. That concludes our video. You saw how to change the battery, check the O-ring, and set this particular style of watch date and time. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to keep bringing more videos and showing more tricks and stuff that I do every day. Fixes, things like watches, tools that I have, things that make my life easier. And I hope you guys enjoy. I'll keep putting the videos out. If you do, hit the like, send comments down below. If you don't, hey, I'd like to hear from you too. And you know, all criticisms and all added info and knowledge that you guys could throw at me. Maybe you want to see a new video, something in particular. Tell me about it, and I'll see if I can make it. Have a good one.